guys, today we're here with Melissa Wood Teppenberg, newly married. We're very excited for her. We're talking about food combining. It's been really top of mind for me recently, and she's kind of our girl.
Hi guys, I'm really excited to talk about this. It's one of my personal favorites that has really gotten me to a place of feeling good in my own body and without having to think too much about it. So I am a new mom, well, not so new, but kind of. New mom. I'm a health and wellness coach, a yoga teacher, meditator, and yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this.
Awesome. So for me, I know that I eat really, really healthy. At least I think I do. And yet still I feel bloated sometimes or kind of sluggish during the day.
Okay.
Or, especially I feel like after certain meals I'm feeling sluggish. Do you know, is there a reason for that?
So let me ask you, what are you eating after a meal? Like if you're craving something sweet, what would be your go-to?
Fruit. Like it's usually some sort of berry or mangoes, and I'll do that definitely after lunch, sometimes after dinner.
Okay, so that is probably the one misconception of having something sweet after a meal. I mean, we all know fruit is one of the healthiest options, but when you look at it in a food combining way, all foods digest differently. So they digest at different rates and they use different enzymes to break down the food. Without getting really technical, I just want to give you the 3 things that make the biggest difference with food combining. So 1, fruit. Eat it in the morning on an empty stomach. That's optimal. That's for optimal digestion. Yes. And if I usually recommend waking up, having some, like a little bit, like half a cup of warm water with lemon, just to jumpstart the digestive system. And it really just aids in good digestion throughout the day. It helps kickstart everything. So start there. Wait, it's not like you have to set a timer and actually wait 20 minutes, but give yourself a little bit of time after you have liquids. So we'll get there with that. But so having the warm water with lemon, and then having a mixed bowl of fruit. I love fruit. I love bananas. Don't be afraid to eat bananas. And so fruit takes approximately 30 to 45 minutes to fully digest. Bananas can take up to an hour, and I say approximately because it depends on the amount of size of the fruit that you're eating. So ideally, you would have your fruit, wait 45 minutes. You're still hungry.
Totally.
I always am.
Me too. That would not cut it.
No. So then I would suggest having a bowl of steel cut oats with coconut milk, and you can add some shredded coconut to that. You could add a tablespoon of maple syrup if you prefer it a little sweet, or even stevia, an all-natural sweetener. And that's another example of a good food combination. So go back. Fruit is great when you eat it alone, and then proteins and carbs. So if you can look at it like this, so eating proteins and carbohydrates alone, when you mix them, it almost doubles the amount of time for your body to fully digest it.
So and like chicken and grains is really popular.
So like a black bean burrito with brown rice. Listen, it's not the end of the world if you eat it. And I always say, if you could practice this like 80% of the time, just mindlessly, with just kind of going about your day that way, you'll feel the results. You'll feel different. You'll feel less bloated or completely not bloated anymore. I suffered from severe bloating, acne, fluctuated in my weight all the time. And this is the one method it's really worked for me and for many of my clients, with just understanding the way our body is working. So proteins take approximately 4 to 5 hours to fully digest food. So for example, say that you're having your chicken salad for lunch, and then after you want something sweet, so you're going for fruit. If you can think about it like this, you're putting in the chicken, and then the fruit digests on top. It's almost like it has nowhere to go, because fruit wants to digest
really fast,
30 to 40 minutes, and it has to wait for the protein, which takes 4 to 5 hours to digest, in order for that to even reach the fruit. So that's where the bloating, the weight gain, the discomfort
comes in. It's just sitting on top.
It's just sitting. So, and you're using up just unnecessary energy to break down your food when that could be wasting your beauty energy and energy to go about your day and take care of your kids or go to the gym.
So instead of the energy being in your mind or in your legs to run around, it's just sitting in here.
It's sitting in your gut. And really the key to good, long-lasting health is truly good gut health. And I swear by that.
I feel like we hear this so much recently, and I mean, I think the trend is just continuing, and it's probably not a trend, it's probably a lifestyle, right?
Yes, and food combining is frowned upon by a lot of people, and I get it, but it's one of those things, and I say it with anything that I hear. This is not a diet. It's just a way of understanding how our body breaks down food. And if you try it, you experience it, and you feel great, stick with it. If you don't, if you're like, this is totally, there's no way this is actually how we're supposed to be eating, great, then don't, just let it go, and just try it, and if it works for you, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. I have tried everything. I've been so unhappy with myself. It's like the first time in my life I just feel good about myself, and I credit a lot of that to following food combining.
Interesting. So back to the breakfast, if you're eating that oatmeal, you wouldn't suggest then putting nuts in it or fruit in the oatmeal. It's more about keeping these things separate.
Yes.
So actually this could mean that things that you love to eat and you've been avoiding eating because you think that they're not necessarily healthy for you, you could if you eat them in the right order.
Yes.
Potentially.
And
that makes sense.
And it goes back to the 80-20 rule, because if you love putting bananas in your oatmeal, do it on the weekend, or experiment not doing it to see how you feel. And it's not like you have to get rid of the banana, just eat it before, and then give yourself a little time to digest the food. And having the oats on its own with coconut is neutral, so it blends well with everything. And then with fruit too, fruit also digests well when it's blended in a smoothie. So if you're adding greens, which are neutral, to anything, so greens added to fruit blended in a smoothie, your proteins and your carbs, that's the best way to pair it. So carbs are best paired with starchy or non-starchy vegetables, and then proteins with non-starchy leafy greens. So it could be broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower,
salad, lettuce. So you can put chicken in your lettuce, just don't put grains in it.
Exactly.
And then have the grains before or after for lunchtime.
So if someone told me that they love animal protein, ideally it's best to have it later in the day.
So a dinner or a lunch?
So you could, it's if you think about it like this, starting your day light and moving heavier throughout the day. Because you're just waking up and your body's just getting moving again. If you can look at it in that way, then it's like giving your body enough time throughout the day to kind of catch up with the rate that you're going. That makes sense.
Interesting, because I feel like for so long we've been told to have lunch, the middle of the day be the heaviest meal, and then sort of a lighter, a filling or protein-rich breakfast, right? Heavy in the middle, light at dinner. So you're saying to actually go heavy at dinner.
So start light and build. So if you love animal protein, it's optimal to have it towards the end of the day because you're eating it, and then
it keeps
you have
full
a few hours
the night.
exactly, and you're waking up and it's already digested. If you're having protein for lunch, then I think you need 4 to 5 hours for it to digest.
Wow.
So the likelihood that you're not going to eat a carb.
Snack.
So it's just, and I try to not be too technical with it because you can get caught up, and this is, it's nothing to obsess about. It's just a way to see how you feel and see if it makes a difference in your skin and your energy and even your sleep.
Wow, fascinating.
Yeah.
And then just last thing, you mentioned neutrals, right? So coconut, leafy greens.
So coconut, leafy greens, all non-starchy vegetables are neutral, and those are probably the best to really look at as pairing them with proteins or carbs.
Okay. And they can sort of go throughout your day. Like you could have leafy greens all day long.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm plant-based, so I eat a ton of carbs.
Okay.
And I eat a ton of starchy carbs, a ton.
Like bread, like you're just eating the bread at the dinner table?
It's not that I eat a ton of bread. If I do, it's Ezekiel sprouted.
Okay.
Grains. But
so you're selective about your carbs.
Yes, I don't eat unrefined, non-starchy.
Okay.
Rarely.
Okay.
But sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of those.
Okay.
And yams, all that good stuff.
Okay. But you eat them separate from your protein.
Well, I don't. So a lot of people will say, like, when you go vegan or paleo, you'll lose a lot of weight, which makes sense because paleo, you're totally eliminating grains.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much following food combining eating that way, and it's the same with vegan because there are no animal products.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much, if you're not throwing fruit and everything, things are properly combined. And I say properly, and it's if you can pay attention to the language that you use, it's really important, because if you find yourself eating a meal that wasn't, it was improperly combined, and after you're like, oh, I'm so bad I didn't follow, get rid of that, because then it's like
you're guilt driven.
Yes, and you hold on to that stress, and your body holds on to that weight, so let it go. It's just, if you can have fun with it, do the best that you can with what you have, and just give it a try.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I think what would be really useful, and we'll put this in the rest of the post, is to have just like an easy chart. Like this goes well with this.
I have a great chart.
Great.
I'll share with you. And it gets a little technical with acid fruits, non-acid fruits. I just simply break it down to the easy way.
Yeah.
Fruit, proteins, and carbs. And that's works really well for me. Do whatever you want, but without getting too obsessed.
If there was just a sort of one simple way to explain food combining in the way that people could implement it into their life easily, how would you sort of summarize that?
I don't want to confuse you. So if you can look at it like this, eating fruit in the morning on an empty stomach or in a smoothie blended with some leafy greens, having carbs alone, so eating carbs with vegetables, or with starchy vegetables is fine, and not pairing proteins and carbs together. So eating proteins alone with non-starchy vegetables and leafy greens is optimal.
Okay.
So
great.
One more time, just to be okay. So eating fruit alone in the morning on an empty stomach or blended in a smoothie with greens. Eating carbs with starchy vegetables or non-starchy vegetables, and then protein with non-starchy vegetables or leafy greens. So if you can look at it in those three categories, I find that to be really easy. And really, you can break that down throughout your day, thinking to yourself, okay, I want a salad. Oh, I usually put quinoa with chicken. Hold the chicken, have the quinoa, load it with tons of vegetables. You can even put some sweet potato in there. And then save, if you eat chicken, save it for your evening meal with some broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, and see how you feel. And just look at it as an experiment. That's how I go into everything that I do if I'm trying something on. Just see how you feel. See if you feel less bloated, if you wake up and you have a big bowel movement, and don't be afraid to talk about those, because that's the key to good health. You want things to move, and this is a way to help things, to eliminate unwanted waste, and just use up less beauty energy to spend with your husband or your friends or with your babies.
Kids, that's great, and I think that easily simplifies it.
Okay,
and I find that, that's an easy sort of change to do in your diet, I think. Because I do eat the quinoa with the chicken.
Okay.
So I find that that's an easy spot.
It is. And if you eat it that way and you're like, I feel great, there's nothing I need to change, then don't. And that's how I always look at it with every situation.
And each person's different, right? So I think it's gonna
100%. I don't eat meat, but I don't judge anyone or frown upon people that do. I think if you can try pairing it differently, see how you feel, and I guarantee it will make a world of a difference.
And lots of water.
Tons of water.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Melissa.
guys. Thank you.